Welcome to your Daily Dose with Dr. Moshe, a show we created to answer everyday questions you have about your health. I'm Dr. Moshe, and I've been helping patients for 15 years.
I'm Big Al, a radio and TV host for over 20 years. We want you to know what's going on in the world around you. We want to help you be better informed about the topics that could affect your health, how to deal with them, and make your life better.
And I'm Rachel, a producer and host. Together we'll do our best to answer your questions, from world news to the USA to what's happening down the block. We want you to know how to stay healthy and how to deal with anything that comes your way, because together we can all be better.
All right, welcome to Daily Dose with Dr. Moshe. We got Rachel right there, Dr. Moshe right there. And listen, we had a chance to talk with this boxer that's coming out, and he's Blake the Beast McKernan. He's 13-0, he's professional, and now he's trying to go for 14-0 a little bit later on, the end of November, this big fight that he has. And had a chance to talk with him and why he was getting this training on, and find out not just dealing with the physical, but also deal with the mental training. Check this out.
Dr. Moshe Lewis with Blake the Beast McKernan right here, and Big Al Sam's.
Yeah. I'm not fighting him. I'm not fighting him. He's too good. But we want to talk about a lot of good things that you're dealing with with respect to health, man. So first off, how are you doing with all this madness going on with you?
Doing good, man. You know, the pandemic has, been something that we've all been having to learn how to pivot and deal with in our own way. And, it's definitely hitting me like it's hit everybody. Not just in business, but in life and personal life as well. You know, being a single parent. Yeah. Doing this whole homeschooling thing, man, has been one for the books, but I'm going to put it to you like that. Hey, anybody watching this, they need to start paying teachers more money. Exactly. All in all, man, everything's good, man. You know, as we're sitting down, I got the biggest fight of my life and career coming up. Yes. And, it's truly a blessing, man. So I'm in good spirits and in a good mindset right now.
Man, how does it feel to be in this fight? I mean, you're in the undercard with Mike Tyson. I mean, that's major.
Right. And, it kind of goes back ever since I was a kid, Fast forward all the way back when I was 10 years old, the very first time I saw Mike Tyson and Vander Holyfield fight. That was what changed my whole atmosphere and my whole life. First time seeing them fight, I was like, you know what, this is what I want to do with my life. Yeah. Then you fast forward, I idolized guys like Roy Jones and Mike Tyson my entire life in childhood. And, ultimately ended up naming my son Tyson after Mike Tyson. Yeah. And then now we're 4.5 years that I've been pro. I'm ranked 16th in the country. Taking on a former 2-division world champion, what better than to do it on the Mike Tyson Roy Jones card?
Internal motivation, is that something you say sort of to that young fighter, that young sports athlete that sometimes may feel down, may have lost a fight? What is that word of encouragement, like you said, to always believe in yourself, don't give up no matter what?
You never lose, you always learn. In life, it's like we can look at some of the most successful people in life, right? Everybody's fallen down, everybody's had small failures, but you don't truly ever fail until you quit. Right. So at the end of the day, I look at life like a math problem, right? This is the easiest way to explain it. When you first are learning, for example, algebra, you have no idea what the hell you're doing. Every time you're going through a problem, you're wondering, how do I get the right answer? Because I'm always getting the wrong one. Well, what do you learn every time that you make a mistake and get the wrong answer? You learn how to get the right one, right? So that's the analogy of how I look at life. Is throughout life, we're always going to stumble. We're going to have times that we fall down, and those are small failures. But through our small failures, it's going to teach us on how to become successful.
Now, you have a saying, I deal with a lot of people who have a tremendous amount of pain, and you have a saying literally on your arm, I didn't miss that, pain is love. You got to tell us what you mean by that, because so many people that I encounter, and you spoke to it a little bit earlier, feel overwhelmed by pain, no matter how small or how great. Right. And instead, you not only take the ultimate positive stance on it, you're like, look, I see it as something that only makes me stronger.
Right. As I have it tattooed on my body, pain is love, but love is pain. You know what I mean? A lot of the times, through pain, is we put ourselves through pain to achieve and to go after love. And now I'm not just talking about in relationships, I'm just talking about in life. a lot of the times we put ourselves through pain to go after and chase after these things that we love in life. We put ourselves through pain to chase after the things and the people that we love in life, right? So a lot of the times when we're experiencing pain, it's because we're putting ourselves through pain to achieve, to try to get love. You know what I mean? And once we get to the love part of it, you look back and you look at all the pain that you had to overcome in order to find that love. And again, this isn't just talking about, you know, relationships. It's just talking about a passion in life that no matter how much pain you give me, I'm still going to try to find a way to find love.
Good. I love that.
Yes, yes. So, enough of the love. I want to know about this opponent, but I want to know your mindset walking in that ring. Clearly, this is something that's a brand new situation. Obviously, you have a lot to look back on, to draw from. But how do you picture being in that moment? It's just, this is the Staples Center. This is massive.
Right. Owning it. Main two words I can tell you is owning it, man. Like at the end of the day, like we were just talking a minute ago, is not really getting too far ahead of myself. At the end of the day, certain people in my position could be like, hey, I'm fighting on the Mike Tyson card. I'm fighting a former 2-division world champ. I'm fighting on pay-per-view in front of expected 50 million viewers globally. I'm fighting at the Staples Center.
Right.
It gets more legendary and more historical day after day. At the end of the day, in my mindset, as amazing as all those things are, forget all that. It's another day in the office, baby. It's another day to go out here to showcase my skill. I don't care about my opponent's accomplishments because at the end of the day, it's me versus me. I don't care about him whatsoever. All I know is after my press conference, I hope that man is doing his homework and doing as much training on himself physically and mentally that I am, because in life, so many people always want to underestimate certain situations or certain people. And then what happens? We get taught a learning lesson, right?
Right.
You can never overlook anybody in this world or in this life because you never know what people are capable of doing. Mindset, perspective, drive, intuition, passion, that love, that pain of you going to find love. And at the end of the day, Badu, Jack, and his team are underestimating me in ways that they think I'm going to be a walkover. I'm going to be an easy payday, that he's just donating money to his charity, which, hey, I commend him for that.
Right, sure.
But this is going to be a fight that he donates to his charity while taking a nail. Because in my mind, like I have always done, being a man of God and being a man of positive affirmations, Big Al, you've heard me speak these words countless times.
Yeah.
I speak my greatness into existence. As I went from 1-0 to 13-0, as we're now getting ready to go 14-0, I am going 14-0 November 28th.
When it comes to diet, sleep, and just overall taking care of yourself, what are just some basic things, maybe for those out there? It may not necessarily be all the trade secrets you have, eating right and making sure you take care of your sleep.
Right. Well, the biggest thing is, like I always tell everybody, health is wealth. You know what I mean? And being somebody that, you know, after the military, I have a kinesiology background, got a degree in kinesiology. So I've always been somebody that's been fascinated by health and fitness and the anatomy of the body. And a lot of people, you know certain things, but they don't know how to contribute or reflect them on their own lives, right? So it's like everybody always know, every time you work out, you release these things throughout the body and in the mind, endorphins.
Right.
Yes.
You get healthy endorphins, and a lot of times it's like when in life, when you make one positive or one healthy decision, you're gonna go on a road to making another positive or healthy decision.
You don't want to mess that up.
Right. But if you go down this path of making one negative, now it's gonna become that much harder to make the right decision or a positive decision, because it comes an endless repetitive cycle. So in life, whether it comes to sleep, health, fitness, mental, physical, you just have to always feed your mind and your body with positivity and the right things that are, in a sense, going to keep you well. Most people know it's like 70 or 80% of health conditions come from health and fitness,
right,
from the ways that we treat our mind and our body, right? From food. So for me, I just always make sure to eat very healthy every single day. I'm human just like everybody else. I have those times that I want to splurge, and I do. But I think for me, it's because I've been chasing down this career and this lifestyle for so long. People always want to become health and fit, but not change the lifestyle. this is a whole lifestyle change. You can't just be 1 foot in, 1 foot out
Wow.
and expect to get all these returns on your investment, because health and fitness don't work like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So every single day you just have to wake up in a way to where you're going to eat healthy, you're going to live healthy, and you're going to be healthy. Being somebody like myself, and I spent 3.5 years in the Army, 2.5 stateside, 1 year overseas in Iraq as an infantry machine gunner. So for a long time, I was always afraid to have these conversations with people, but I've grown to a point now where I can admit it. And I was afraid of admitting this for a long time because I never wanted to feel like a sense of weakness. But I've battled with PTSD ever since I came back and during my deployment. So I've been home now 11 years, and still till today, I deal with that. A lot of what helps me with my PTSD mentally is being healthy, being around positive people, eating healthy, being in the gym. You know, it releases these healthy endorphins that it takes my mindset off all the negative things that I could easily project, right? And, you know, so in a sum, to wrap it up, you know, it's like for anybody watching, you know, find ways to where you can change your lifestyle and not just have it be something that is just gonna be in a way to where you're gonna halfway do it. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times people will get into something and see that it's gonna be hard, and then they scale back and fall off. It's hard to be healthy. Damn, it's hard to be unhealthy.
Yeah.
Either way.
You know, one thing I learned, you know, being younger and going through school, everything you do younger in life, you guys being older, you'll understand this, you start to pay for later on in life. You know, so it's like being able to have healthy habits and a healthy lifestyle at an early age is going to project and have you and cause you to live a lot healthier and live a lot longer the older that you get.
Exactly. And see, I have no problem saying I'm old. I'm old.
Right.
I'm old.
Older.
I'm old.
You guys ain't old. Y'all are OGs, baby. Y'all are OGs.
Hey, I'm very confident in my OG-ness. So
Right.
It's all good. It's all good. Listen, man, positivity, experience, pain is love, and help you secure the bag when you win and be 14-0.
Right.
We're fantastic. Blake McKernan,
Appreciate it.
thank you so much, brother.
So anybody, you know, as we wrap up, you know, if anybody is interested in watching the fight, we fight on the Mike Tyson Roy Jones undercard. We were supposed to be the co-main event. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bent out of shape. We got bumped from the co-main event because they're putting the video vlogger Jake Paul up against Nate Robinson. So we got bumped down one fight.
Right.
But it's okay. At the end of the day, we're gonna see the positive, right?
Right.
We're
Exactly.
gonna see the positive.
Exactly.
There's always a
So-
silver lining.
So Mike Tyson, Roy Jones undercard, November 28th, just a couple days after Thanksgiving. I will be fighting former 2 division world champion Badu Jack as we look forward, and we'll go 14-0 on pay-per-view at the Staples Center. And you know what I always tell people, man, it's history in the making.
Absolutely.
Get your popcorn and don't blink, baby.
I love it. Big Al Sams, Blake the Beast McKernan. I'm Dr. Lewis. Thanks so much for watching, and we appreciate and make sure you're there to see him go 14-0.
Wow. I have big time respect for Blake the Beast McKernan. Not only is it seems like he's well adjusted, Dr. Moshe. I'm telling you, well adjusted.
Absolutely. He exudes positivity. And I think that mindset, like you said, in terms of being mentally in the right place, especially when you're going to face an opponent that certainly is out there also to win. And it's just the two of you together. And a large part of it is not panicking, being able to focus, and also keeping your eyes on that prize and staying positive despite everything that's coming at you literally. It's clear that he's got the right mindset and a strong team around him. So we're certainly wishing him the best, and look forward to hearing good things regardless, because clearly he believes it and he's going to achieve it.
Hey, we're going to switch gears a little bit and have a good time with some celebrity health news with Rachel.
Okay, so all this talk about COVID, I can't help but think of what celebrities are thinking. And well, it appears pop star Ariana Grande has a lot to say, and she's actually calling out TikTok stars. She was on a recent interview with the Zach Sang Show, and the 27-year-old singer said, quote, "Couldn't we just have stayed at home for a few more weeks like all the other countries that were fine and are better than we are? Did we really need to go to Saddle Ranch that badly that we couldn't have waited for the deathly pandemic to pass?" Now, if you keep up with the TikTok influencer world, you'd know that Saddle Ranch is a hot spot in LA for all the TikTokers and big influencers. And it's actually known as the TikTokers playground. Now, I know that because I live here in LA, and I haven't been to Saddle Ranch. I have been to Saddle Ranch, but I haven't been there during the pandemic. But I will admit that I've driven down Sunset Boulevard, and I can't help but peek over and notice that people are there. And yeah, people are there. But Ariana Grande, she just completely told the TikTokers to stay away from Saddle Ranch. So that was some shade. Noted. We will not be seeing Ariana Grande at Saddle Ranch anytime soon, but she was out for the interview because her recent album Positions was released, and that's what she created during quarantine with her boyfriend.
Definitely appreciate it. Thank you so much, Rachel. Hey, now we're going to go to fact or foolishness. We're going to get some medical things and find out what's true, what's not true. That way you can stay entertained. Go ahead and take it away, Dr. Moshe.
Okay, sure. So let's jump right on in. Now, very recently, we talked about the fact that people could benefit in actually lowering their heart rate if they cuddle with a cow. Do you think it might be a good idea to do yoga with a goat? That is the next animal that's up for a bid to discuss whether or not they should be included in our Zen routine. What do you guys think? Do you think that might be a good idea?
I've seen this. I'm being in LA, you see some crazy stuff in LA. Have never done it personally, but I know people have done it. But I doubt it. Is it happening right now? Are you allowed to do goat yoga right now?
Yes, it is a trendy, hip way to certainly get your vibe and get to listen to the sounds that the goats make while you're doing your yoga. You can listen to their bleating. And so it's an in thing.
I have to admit, I have tried goat yoga.
Yeah?
When I did radio, we did goat yoga in the studio. little baby
Not the
goat.
ghost to the studio?
Yeah, they were showing how to do it, and you stretch out, and and they were out there. And, they put it on my neck. I was like, wow, it's. I didn't really feel too fit afterwards, but it did bring my heart blood pressure down because the goat was so cuddly.
How big were these goats? Because I'm curious, like, you have to have the right size goat or it's going to break my back. Like,
right. So,
don't need no big goat on my back. I think that would actually do the opposite effect.
It was like
making my heart rate.
What's the baby goat called? A kid? The little kid. They just had him, and it was big enough to go around my neck. So he was just hanging out, just like looking at me like, what you got to eat? It was so adorable. The goat was so adorable.
Okay, so I'll try it. I'd try it.
Okay. So we got to make a pledge that when we can get to LA all together, we're gonna take a goat yoga class. I don't think they can be more than about 15 pounds, so we definitely won't let them hurt your back. Transitioning over, high heels and being able to think better and make better decisions.
When I have my heels on, I think like a boss. So better decisions, maybe not always better, but boss mentality, yes. Yeah, boss mentality.
I don't wear heels.
Are you sure?
Many times I don't feel like a boss, so maybe I'm deferring to Rachel for that one. I do have a few friends, some fellas who do wear high heels out in Atlanta, so I never asked them do they feel like a boss, but they don't work it. I'm a boss regardless. I guess it works.
Exactly. Well, both of you guys are right. And we got Jimmy Choo to volunteer, no charge. They are going to we asked for red, but they are going to send some yellow polka dot shoes, the polka dot to purple, to you, Al, just so that you can say that you did at least get to wear them one time. And we're not talking 6 inches. We're talking 14-inch heels. So I hope you're ready. But
14 inches?
14. These are custom. So they were one-off, and they were willing to donate them. When they heard Big Al wanted to talk about heels, they wanted to make sure they did it right. So they are on their way to you.
That is a workout in of itself. I'm just thinking of the calf muscles you're going to gain just wearing those in your house, right? You won't be leaving.
I'm sorry. I was bent down. I had a cramp just hearing the story. I was like, oh, my God. Come on now. And by the way, don't let my friend Antoine hear about them heels. He's gonna jack him from my house. He come over. Hey, I ain't seen you in a minute, and then but he was gone. Don't do that. Don't do that.
You have to try it literally. Well, Rachel was really clairvoyant on this one because it's true. Being able to balance your posture, they've even shown that if you're just standing on one leg, you think clearer, you essentially maybe have to get off your feet, but the brain works a little bit better when people have to think about their balance. And so they think that's what the connection is. Brigham Young studied this, actually put some research into it, and did a little bit of science behind it. So you are right, Rach. Think like a boss, be like a boss, and certainly act the boss, because that's what you are. And
yeah, look good, feel good. I swear, if you had the option to look good or feel good, you got to choose to look good, because if you look good, you automatically feel good.
There it is. There it is. Preach, Rachel, preach.
So we're going to move upstairs just a little bit. And this is a quiz question, and you kind of can't get it wrong. How often should you, and we're not saying you do or don't, but how often do you think people should change their underwear? How often?
Every day, at least every day. At least. At minimum.
At least.
At least.
And
oh God, at least.
Not over a 24-hour period. It's got to be on point.
Okay.
Sometimes before you go to bed. Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad you guys are consistently consistent, because the answer is actually all over the place. And we're not saying it's right. We're just saying that they went out and polled people and found that half of the people that they surveyed change them every 2 days. And many people, many more than we might want to admit, change them once a week. So there's definitely a lot of variety, to say the least, when it comes to changing the underwear. Again, there's not an issue about right or wrong. It was just surveying people how often they change their underwear. So the whole take home of it was to make sure that people do consider changing a little bit more often, certainly up to 2 or 3 times a day for people that are working out a lot or wearing tight clothes and things like that is recommended. Mm-hmm. Some people do it every time they shower. So again, there was a spectrum.
Which should be at least once a day. Which should be at least once a day to shower.
I am there with you.
California, we got these crazy laws out there, and the majority of the reason why these crazy laws is because we have to physically tell people to do something that's not against the law to make it a law. Wash your hoo-ha. Come on, wash your hands, all right? Get the little sanitizer, and then get to the bathroom, get yourself a towel, get you some soap, and wash your, do we have to say this? What are we doing? We got no contact tracing, and now nobody washing their hoo-ha, changing their underwear every week. Come on now.
Well, maybe they're trying to get too back to nature.
My blood pressure's going back up.
Yeah.
We gotta get the goat.
Where are the goats? Bring in the goats.
It has been a weird week, and it's been really informative week, Rachel. We talking about, wow, 100,000 cases of COVID-19 today. This is, oh my God, this is bananas.
Bananas. What a year, 2020, y'all. I just been thinking, like, history books for 2020. I hope it's an open note test, these teachers, for the open note book for a 2020, because there has been so much going on this year in addition to COVID-related situations.
Wow, it's going to be Wikipedia in 3/4 for real. But the biggest thing I've noticed is that, if ever was a time for contact tracing to be relevant, this is the time, right, Dr. Moshe?
Well, that's so great that you mention it, because it is something that has been a bit controversial here, but not necessarily all over the world. So we are delighted to have Frank Friesch with us. He is with Layer, and that is a company that's based overseas. He is a German living currently in Texas. He's traveled all over Europe. He goes back and forth. We're delighted to have you, because in Germany, we know they're having a little bit of a surge as well, but they have been using a contact tracing now for a good amount of time without all the controversy. And Frank, could you just share us a little bit about the insight in terms of what your perspective is on the German experience?
Well, the contact tracing in Germany and all over Europe actually is a pretty successful tool in order to contain that virus. There are issues as soon as you have high numbers of new cases, because eventually it just becomes impossible to trace 20,000 new cases during the days and so on. But whenever you go into a restaurant, whenever you went into a bar, into certain places, you had to write down your phone number, your email address, your name of everyone with you in that party, so they could be reached. Now, when a case would be in that restaurant during the time you've been there, then you would be contacted and be asked to self-quarantine. And after 4 days or 5 days of quarantine, then you can go do a COVID test or a corona test, and you would be then released to go back. I do think quite a bit of the people downloaded the app and used it. I have no clear percentages that it is drafting, but whenever you come into the country, into Germany, you give that form where the locator form is the name. You give that locator form to the customs officer, and they ask you, oh, you're coming from the US, you have to do a COVID test. And then you go in the airport to a station. There's for high-risk countries, that's free when you come out of the US or other high-risk countries. Then you go through that station, and within 20 minutes, you are signed up on that app. And within 20 minutes, then you have your test done, and the next day you get through the app that test. So they basically push that on there as well, and it traces your location. Of course, you can put the location setting on your phone on off, but then you won't get the benefit itself of that either.
We love hearing this, that at least in some other countries, it certainly provides hope and a roadmap for something we can do, like Rachel was getting at, to sort of find our way out, really moving on to those next steps and starting to implement it, even if it's not 100% adopted, following up on contacts and certainly being able to know where people are traveling to that are in the country and having them tested when they come into the country. I'm not sure, since you've obviously gone back and forth a couple of times, was there testing when you came back into the US that occurred?
No. There was no testing, there was no fever measuring, nothing anymore. I just walked basically through the immigration officer and had that checked out, and then went home. And yeah, I want to be responsible, so I locked myself up.
When I traveled back, and I was there for a couple months in Texas, and then in July, as I came back, a little more lax. And I will admit, I've taken another flight. It's a little more lax. Like, do you just think people are just starting to adapt to this time where, I just don't understand why people are becoming more lax to it. Do you know why people are?
I do not know why people are. I don't understand it either. I said all the airlines do, and then you come into an airplane that is fully packed. I flew up to Kansas City for a big meeting that I had to go to, and then the airplane was packed to the last seat.
Right.
So there was middle seats set, everything else. And the funny thing is, even the big flights out to Europe, I said, there the half plane or more is empty, because per se you cannot, unless you're a citizen or a permanent resident or a spouse of a citizen, you cannot fly to Germany. And on the way back, it's the same thing unless you're a resident. So the planes are less than half empty.
Is Germany, the country itself, culturally, are they lax, or is it like they're really, harping on, hey, let's get past this disease, let's get past this virus, and we can move on with our life?
They had 5,000 cases, and they decided to do another lockdown in France and in Germany and in Italy and so on. And cases dropped by 60%, case count. So that is that effective.
Thanks so much for your time and providing this insight, because I think it really provides literally someone who's been on both sides of the ocean, so to speak, and sort of see a very different approach and how it can really be implemented pretty quickly and also be effective in dropping the numbers. Thanks again so much, Mr. Frisch.
America, we're screwing up, man. We're screwing up. I mean, what are we doing? I mean, look, if you're going to make moves in a worldwide pandemic, these are the things you got to do. It's not, now look, I understand if people are like, what you going to do once you get my information after the pandemic? What you know?
Exactly.
But we already gave up our information. Facebook knows our birthday. They know what are we doing? I mean, come on now. We're trying to save lives here.
Absolutely. And like with a smartphone too, like they're able to see our full faces now. Like, what is privacy? Especially now with this COVID.
All right. Hey, We learn a whole lot on this show. I'm telling you, it's great stuff. My man came in and talked about how we're dealing with contact tracing and dealing with COVID in America as opposed to the rest of Europe, who's already on lockdown in most of the countries in the Western Europe side of things. We got to get our stuff together for real. Also, when dealing with athletics, it's not just the physical, it's also the mental, the mindset. That's the biggest thing. And I think that's like 80% of the whole thing. The other 20% is just doing it. So, and most of all, wash it for JJ, wash the junk, all right? Change your underwear. Stop it, okay? Stop it. Just stop it. Just be responsible, be clean, be healthy. I gotta sit down. I'm gonna sit down. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and putting up with us with this show. And make sure you chime in with your comments. We love to hear from you. Definitely want to know who's wearing the underwear once a week. You can also hit me up at Big Al Sams on social.
Want to know? Yes, I'm Rachel Robillard. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Y'all can follow me on all social media at Rach_Robillard. And y'all can follow us, the Daily Dose with Dr. Moshe, on social media as well at DDDMOSHE.
And I'm Dr. Moshe. You can follow me at Moshe Lewis, MD, MOSHE, LEWIS, MD. We want you to keep asking questions and keep tuning in, and we promise to keep finding those answers and bringing you information that you can't find elsewhere.